In this episode of Biz Jet TV, we're going to be talking about this new flying car project, which I think is really, really interesting. So we're going to look at the car, we're going to see footage of this flying car, which the prototype just started flying a few weeks ago. I'm going to tell you, give you a bit of idea of what it does, what it doesn't do, where the company's going, what my take is on this flying car and the market and where I see this going, and also the dangers of this flying car. So let's look into it. My name is Fabrizio Poli, I'm an aviation advisor and airline transport pilot, and also the author of the book, The Quantum Economy. This is a great Christmas present, so if you haven't bought any Christmas presents yet, get yourself a few copies for you, your friends and whatever, because if you are thinking of buying a private jet and bringing the private jet into your space for the new year in 2024 and using it as a business tool, which it really is, this book will really show you why you need a private jet. There's stories in the book about a number of people that have used the jet to build their business as a business tool, and as I always tell people, you know, you're buying time, you're not buying a jet, and that's exactly what it does. It really does propel you into that quantum economy, makes you go faster than everybody else. So let's get into the episode today. We're talking about the Samsung Switchblade flying car. Very interesting concept. Now, as you can see from the footage here, this fits in your garage. You can drive it like a normal car, and if you're driving it on the ground, you need a driver's license. If you're going to take it into the air, you need a private pilot's license, and this is a good thing. So you have to go through all the training to become a private pilot. The airplane or the flying car doesn't require anything to be clipped on, whatever, because as you can see, the wings come out and the tail comes out. It's all incorporated into the actual vehicle. They do require you to take off from an airfield or an airstrip to go up in the air and land. But you know, they did some research and they discovered that there's so many people that travel 500 miles, and to travel 500 miles takes 10 hours. But with this flying car, it will just take 3.5 hours. So you're going to save a lot of time. So I do see a market for this. And the interesting thing about it, compared to other flying car projects, the price tag for this is only $170,000. That's where the price starts. There's three types of the flying car. It's $170,000, $330,000, and $770,000. But the basic one is $170,000. And I think that's a really, really good price, because you can use it as a business tool. You can use it as, you know, sports cars, they call it. And you know, I think it's gonna do really, really well. I think there's a market for it. I think at this price point they're going to do very well. But there is a danger, and the danger is when you buy something like this and you use it, especially for whether you use it for leisure or whether you use it for business, you may get yourself into some difficult weather. This is why a lot of, you know, smaller aircraft do crash. People buy the plane, they buy themselves a Bonanza, and they use it for business. And because they've got a business meeting somewhere today and the weather's a bit iffy, they still go. And then they put themselves in a situation, icing situation, get ice on the wings, and one wing stalls, goes into a spin, and they die. So I can see people getting into trouble by doing that. Also, we've just seen over the last few months a lot of small aircraft crash in Utah, where people have gone into the canyons and then they can't get out of the canyon, and they should have never gone into the canyon in the first place. I can see a lot of people taking these flying cars up and getting themselves into these canyon situations, which are very, very dangerous. Also because they're selling it as a sports car. So people that buy sports cars are usually people that like risk. And so I think the company are going to have to put a very good training system in place, and it has to be an ongoing training system, just to make sure that people, you know, fly this thing properly and don't get themselves into situations, because otherwise it could kill the project. I mean, they also plan on developing a series of other versions of this flying car, including a STOL version. STOL stands for short takeoff and landing. I thought that's going to be very, very good, because there's a lot of talk at the moment about the electrical vertical takeoff and landing, and there's billions of dollars that have been invested in this. Over 500 projects. I did cover this in my articles in Avbuyer magazine, and you can click on the link below to go to the articles in Avbuyer magazine, and you'll see my three-part series on the eVTOL market. And I don't think all 500 are going to see the light of day. I think probably there's a market for maybe 10 to 15 of these manufacturers. But the big problem and the big hurdle they have with the eVTOLs is certifying this thing. And so it's still going to be a while. In the meantime, you know, buying yourself a flying car, which can be flown right away, it doesn't need any special certification. This is something which is something that's going to hit the market very soon. And they've already got a lot of orders for this flying car, Samsung flying car. So I think it's going to do really, really well. My only caveat is just be careful on, you know, who you sell them to. Make sure they're trained properly. I like the fact that you have to have a private pilot's license before you buy one of these things, before you fly it, in order to fly it, basically. And I think that's very, very good. So that's good. But I really encourage the company to put a training system similar to what Cirrus has done. They've put a really good training system in place. I'd certainly do that, you know, with using VR helmets, VR technology. I'd certainly throw that in there to help with the training and just keep people safe. So if someone is thinking of going into a canyon with one of these, they would actually simulate that with their in VR, and they would notice that you can't actually go into that canyon. So they wouldn't even try the experiment. So this is the kind of thing that will improve flight safety and overall, you know, increase the number of people using this. I mean, the last thing we want to see is a project like this killed because of an accident, because there's been a lot of aviation projects throughout the years which were very, very good. Yeah, suddenly this thing has an accident and then they shut the whole project down, and it's a shame really, because it stops progress from happening. So that's what I'd say. So let's keep the conversation going. You tell me what you think about this Samsung flying car, Switchblade, and let's get the conversation going here. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video and subscribe to Biz Jet TV. And remember, it's Christmas time. Merry Christmas, everybody. So get a few copies of The Quantum Economy, and for you, your friends, family, and start planning for your private jet for next year, and we can certainly help you here with that too. And check out this other video I did recently where I interviewed Tom Aboud, who's a private jet owner and entrepreneur, and he uses his jet to build his business, and that's an interesting one. So tune into that one. And that's all from Fabrizio Poli here on Biz Jet TV. Have a Merry Christmas, and see you again soon on the next one. Thank you.